Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Progress with number 14 in the series Viewers Games. This one is from Eric from the United States of America, and Eric says, I recently played this opponent in the chess.com app and I was super psyched considering his level was rather higher than mine. I love your channel and watch every video you upload. I live in the United States and this was a 10-minute blitz game. Let's have a look at Eric's game. Eric was white and his opponent under the handle of Johnny Bell was black. Eric opened knight f3, d5, d4, bishop f5, e3, e6, c4, knight d7, a3, black took on c4 and Eric took back, h6, Eric castled, bishop d6, knight c3, knight gf6, bishop d3, bishop g4 and h3. So far both white and black have played very logical moves, developing their pieces, and here Eric is asking the bishop on g4 a question. Take on f3 or go back to h5. Black took on f3, probably the best move. Going to h5, then there might be g4, bishop g6, and then white can take on g6, and after f takes, his pawn structure is damaged, and also then there is queen b3 attacking two unprotected pawns on b7 and e6. But as said, black took on f3, queen takes back, black castles, and here Eric plays e4. He's not tempted by taking a pawn on b7, which in this case would have been a good move. His pawn is a pawn. Often when you take on b7 there may be options of rook b8 and taking on b2. But in this case the b2 pawn is protected because the bishop on c1 is still at home. So taking on b7 would have been an option here, but e4 is also a good move, opening the diagonal for the c1 bishop and getting more material, more pressure in the center. The threat is e5, and that's why black played bishop e7. But he could have played, and that's not easy to see in a 10-minute blitz game, he could have played c5, which was the best move here. Because if then white plays e5, then there is bishop takes e5, d takes e5, and of course white has won a piece, but with knight takes e5, black immediately wins that piece back, because the knight is attacking the queen and the bishop, and also the queen on d8 is now suddenly attacking the bishop. So black will win his piece back. After bishop e7, Eric played a very strong move, e5, kicking the knight. Knight went to h7 and queen g4. And white has a nice position. All his pieces are better than black's pieces. Black is very cramped and white is better. Black played bishop g5. And here Eric could have kept the pressure on with f4. Kicking the bishop back to e7, and then you can play rook f3 and you really start an attack. The black king will start to feel uncomfortable on g8. But Eric took on g5, knight takes g5 and knight e4. And here black had a nice little combination. If you want to put the video on hold and look for the best move for black in this position, I will give the move now. Black could have taken on e5 here. Knight takes e5. Because if you take that knight, then the bishop on d3 is hanging. Queen takes d3 and, for example, knight takes g5, h takes g5 and queen takes g5, and black has no more problems. But black didn't see that. He took on e4. He was already happy to swap some pieces to relieve his cramped position. Eric took back on e4, and now a move like c6 would have been the best move, but black decided on f5. Not a very good move. E takes f6, knight takes f6, and now that pawn on e6 is just hanging with check. So Eric could have taken on e6 with a better position. He didn't do that, he played queen g6 instead, overlooking that his pawn on d4 is now hanging. Queen takes d4 is a good move for black. But black didn't see that, he took on e4 instead. Queen takes e4 and queen d5. Eric took on d5, a move like rook fe1, just protecting the queen and activating a rook is a better move. But queen takes d5 is okay. Black took back. And now rook fe1. We're in a rook ending with equal pawns. Position is equal. Rook f7, rook e5, c6 protecting the pawn on d5, rook e1, and now a strange move from black, king h7. Of course the king is an important piece in every endgame, and this king is now going the wrong way. The king has to go towards the center, not towards the edge of the board. g3 from Eric. Rook af8, rook 1 e2, defending the pawn on f2, rook f3, king g2, rook d3 going after the d4 pawn, rook e7, king now back to g8, so black has lost two moves with that king maneuver, g8, h7 and back to g8. Eric took on b7, and black took on d4. And here is a instructive moment. Rooks on the 7th rank or the 2nd rank are very strong when they are on that rank together. So here with rook e7, Eric could have caused all sorts of problems for his opponent. He didn't see it, he took the pawn on a7. Also in subsequent moves, he still had the chance to double up on the 7th rank, but he didn't do it in this game. Rook b8, b4, rook d3, rook a6, rook c3, rook a5, rook f8, rook c5, rook takes pawn, rook b3, rook d6, and rook takes b4. Rook takes d5. Now we have 3 pawns against 2 pawns all on one side of the board, which is a theoretical draw. But of course white can still try to win this position. Rook b7, rook de5, rook bf7, rook e8, king h7, a pair of rooks was swapped, rook takes, and f4. Rook f7, king f3, g6, h4 and h5, rook e4, king g7. I presume both players got very low on time here. As I said, it was a 10-minute blitz game, 10 minutes for each side for the whole game, no increment. g4, and here black must have made a pre-move, which is possible in internet games. You can make a move before your opponent has made a move, just to gain time. But that pre-move must have been rook f5, and that was made before black saw that white had played g4. So rook f5 just blunders the rook, and after g takes f5, rook e6, black resigned. If black doesn't blunder his rook, the position will likely end in a draw. This is not so difficult to defend for black. But a good win from Eric. He played really well. I was especially impressed with the opening. Brought all his pieces into play. occupied the center, put his king safe, and then had a beautiful position after the opening where all his pieces were stronger than black's and he had more space. A few tactical oversights from both players, and then a lot of material was swapped, resulting in a rook endgame where white really could have given black a hard time by doubling up on the 7th rank instead of going chasing for pawns. And then in the end, the pre-move from black, which cost him a full rook. Well done, Eric, good game. Thank you for sharing it with the Chess to Progress community. I hope you enjoyed Eric's game. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Progress channel, and I'm looking forward to your comments on this game. You also may want to check out my Chess to Impress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick from Chess to Progress. Thank you very much for watching.